Good morning, St. Francis. It is Tuesday, July the 27th, 2021, Tuesday of the 17th week of the year. Coming to you again from the Memorial Garden. As you can see over my shoulder, there is our hawk, which Father Jairo has affectionately named Tiberius. So Tiberius the hawk is over my left shoulder. How long Tiberius will stay around, we don't know. Is Tiberius a male or a female? We don't know that either. We can't get that close. But Tiberius is here watching over the Memorial Garden, not flying away. Anyway, again, it's way too hot, way too humid for a habit, so back out here again with just me. Today's readings, Exodus continues again with the erection of the meeting tent apart from the community where anybody could go to be able to consult with God, a free and open place, not just for priests, not just for Levites, but for anyone who needed consultation with God, they could go to the meeting tent. The passage goes along, though, to state something very interesting, that Moses goes to stand before God face to face, to converse with God as one would a friend, another human being, another partner, another associate, standing face to face to be able to converse with God. That is a key part of this. God that announces who God is, a God who is merciful, loving, and forgiving, except to Egyptians and their Egyptian armies, but that's a whole other story. A God who only punishes those who deserve to be punished, which I guess you can lump the Egyptians under. What happens after that is always another question. But the fact of the matter is that Moses is able to speak to God face to face, which is not necessarily something that is only reserved to Moses alone. This reading from Exodus always pointed to the idea that for us to be able to relate to God, to talk with God, communion with God, understand God, receive what it is that God needs us to do, we must do it in a standing posture, standing face to face. Again, unfortunately, what evolves in our liturgy is this kneeling and bowed heads and shielding faces and hiding ourselves as much as we can from God, which doesn't make any sense, considering what the scriptures always say about the ability to speak to God as one would speak to a good friend, as one would speak to someone we trust, as one would speak to someone who we knows who can help us, can hear our needs, and who can answer them. Moses shows the way and the ability to be able to speak with God, something also that Abraham was able to do. It is not for a select few. It is not just for the ordained. It is not just for those with special privileges and whatever. It is for all of us who come into relationship with God to be able to stand before God face to face and to speak and to receive what it is that God needs to say to us. At the end of this passage, it is interesting that the tablets are again imprinted with the Ten Commandments, because if you remember, although I don't think it's in the passage from Monday, the tablets are smashed by Moses when he comes down off the mountain and sees the golden calf. So the first set get destroyed, and so a second set have to be made, and so that's what also happens at the meeting tent, this time not on the mountain. In the Gospel, we hear a continuation of where, in Matthew, of a parable that we should have heard on Saturday. We don't have Mass here at St. Francis on Saturday mornings, but if you read that Gospel for Saturday, it is the parable of the weeds and the wheat, and how they should come up both together and then be separated at harvest time, because you don't want to pull up the good wheat with the weeds if you try to get rid of the weeds all at once. The apostles asked Jesus to explain that, and Jesus goes on to say that, the weeds are the work of the evil one, and the devil is the one who sows them, and there'll be judgment at the end of time, and the weeds and will be thrown into the fire, wailing, gnashing of teeth, all kinds of unpleasant imagery, which is sometimes abounding in Matthew. Matthew loves to give dire consequences and dire circumstances to those who, again, refuse God and refuse God's hand in friendship. Dire, yes. Judgment, yes. But the important thing is to realize, why would anybody refuse the hand of God in friendship? Why would anyone refuse to be able to be a part of this life that gives life? If we see that there are people who are doing so, then it is our job as believers, to help to encourage and persuade and guide them, into an understanding of a God of life, not a God of judgment, not a God of consequences, not a God of punishment, not a God of death, but a God who allows us to have life and to have it to its fullest. God's only command, that we love one another, must shine forth in all that we say and all that we do. That kind of witness has the power to conquer any evil, to conquer anything that stands in the way of our human flourishing, our human ability to become that true image and likeness of God in this world. May the Lord give you his peace.